Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Continuing with the discussion, what happens after death. In the last episode, we spoke about how Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam encouraged us to visit the graveyard, how the ahadith encourage us to take part in the ghusl of a mayyit, of a deceased person, to attend the janazah, to go to the graveyard, to contemplate, to look at the graves, so that we remind ourselves constantly and consistently that there's a life for me to come after this life. And that will be a much longer life, because I will be in Barzakh from the time of my demise up to the day of Qiyamah. And even though we are from the last ummah, and even though we are getting closer to Qiyamah, for the people of our age, we are in all likelihood going to be in Barzakh far longer than we were alive on this earth, even if we lived for 100 years. So going to the Qabristan, making ghusl of the deceased, attending the janazah, reflecting over death, remembering death, reading books about death, talking about death, visualizing death every day before we go to sleep. That is going to put us in a state of mind where we can prepare adequately, inshallah, for Barzakh. And remember, Barzakh, like we have been saying, then becomes the first step to the year after. Now, today, I want to talk about being optimistic when it comes to Barzakh. We mentioned right in the beginning that Aisha radiallahu anha had told Nabi sallallahu alayhi wasallam that no one likes death. And that is true. No one likes death. However, even though no one likes death, it's a natural dislike that man would have for death and a fear as well. We must be optimistic about what will happen to us in Barzakh, inshallah. And if we're optimistic, then we can optimistically optimize our preparation for Barzakh. There is a hadith of Bayhaqi wherein it is mentioned that Nabi sallallahu alayhi wasallam said, a human loves life while death is better for him. A human loves life while death is better for him. Subhanallah. You know, it is mentioned in Tabarani, the narration of Abdullah bin Amr bin As radiallahu anhuma, that Nabi sallallahu alayhi wasallam said, this world is a place of, it's a prison for a believer. A place of drought. You've got difficulties, you've got hardships. When one leaves the world, one leaves a prison and a place of drought, and you go to a place where there's only comfort and delight and bliss, if, of course, you lived your life in the right way and you passed away in the right condition. There's a narration of Tirmidhi, where Anas radiallahu anhu says that Nabi sallallahu alayhi wasallam said, the example of the passing away of the child of Adam is like the journey of a baby emerging from the mother's narrow, dark womb. While the child is in the mother's womb, it thinks it's got its own world, you know. It doesn't want to go anywhere. That's why it comes out crying. It's uncomfortable. It's scared. Like how we are moved from this world into Barzakh, the child is worried. Hey, what's this here? All this light and noise and people. So the child cries and the child is irritated and agitated. But before long, the child realizes that there are much more comforts and pleasures in this world than there were in the belly of my mother. So yes, we have a natural fear for death. Yes, we have a natural fear for death, dislike for death. But we should also realize that if we live our lives in the right way and we get to the other side in the right condition, it will be a far better place. And if we are given the option that, would you want to go back? We'll say never. Never. We would never want to go back. Those who we left behind, indeed, we love them and we want to be reunited with them. But inshallah, we'll all be reunited in Jannah. Let me conclude with this hadith of Abdullah ibn Mas'ud radiallahu anhu. He says, when Allah Ta'ala intends taking the ruh of a believer, He commands Malakul Maut that convey my salam to him. When the angel of death comes to take his ruh, he says to that person, your Lord says salam to you. Wow, what a blessing. May 1,000 lives be sacrificed for such a death. May Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala grant us all such a death. Allahumma ahyina ala al-Islam. Oh Allah, keep us alive on Islam. Wa amitna ala al-Iman. And grant us death on Iman. Wahshurna yawm al-qiyamati ma'al muttaqina ma'al abrar. And resurrect us on the day of Qiyamah in the company of your pious and your righteous servants. Allahumma laqina hujjat al-iman 'inda al-mamat. Oh Allah, you keep us firm and you enable us to be able to say the kalima at the time of death. And oh Allah, you grant us Jannatul Firdaus without a reckoning. You make our graves a garden from the gardens of Jannah and not a pit from the pits of hellfire. Ameen ya Rabbal Alameen. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.